Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2-in-1 Golf Podcast. Sterling and Mike this week, just the two of us. Madison is off on business, so we're going to hold down the fort by ourselves. Sterling, how's it going?
I'll be honest with you, Mike. I'm very tired. Busy day, as all. It's just a busy time for the golfing world. So I'm tired, but here we are, episode 62. We're just keeping this train rolling. How
That's
are you?
right. That's right. Doing well. I'm also pretty tired. It's busy in the non-golf world as well. It's performance review season, so it's been
Mm,
a lot of late nights doing preparation in order to have talked with all the folks that work for me. But definitely glad to be here. Definitely glad to be talking about some golf. So quite a bit has happened since we last got together, and really can't wait to talk about some pretty dominant performances lately.
yeah, for sure. It's crazy to think it's been 2 weeks. We've had at least three tournaments that I know of, but only two winners.
Only two winners. Yeah,
Uh,
it's amazing. It's almost like they're working in tandem now. It's, I don't know, almost eerie, but just, it's pretty incredible to watch. Do you think that we're seeing something along the lines of things we haven't seen since vintage Tiger, or given that we've got, I guess, vintage Tiger and Annika together, maybe?
yeah. I mean, Tiger did this, and I think he had a run similar to this in 2007 into 2008,
Hmm.
and I wasn't watching golf back then, but when did Annika have her kinda run of 5 straight?
Oh gosh, it was definitely mid 2000s, and she had a stretch of about, gosh, I don't know, not quite a decade, I don't think, but several years, maybe 6, 7 years, where she was double digit or close wins every year. A
Mhm.
bad year for her in that kind of early 2000s to right before 2010. A bad year for her was like five wins was a bad year,
Wow.
which
Yeah,
is just
that's pretty
insane.
crazy.
It's insane.
Yeah. I did see Billy Horschel probably won't get talked about a whole lot. He won the opposite field event this week. I honestly couldn't even tell you where it was.
The
Do you know?
Corrales Punta Cana. And Sterling, what were we saying Saturday morning? We were talking about this.
Yeah,
We were
yeah.
talking about Wes Bryant's chances, and
Yep.
what did we
You're like, "Oh,
conclude?
can anyone catch him?" And then I was like, "Oh, like, Billy Horschel's up there," and you're like, "No, I don't trust Billy." And he goes out and shoots 9 under to seal the victory. Super unfortunate for Wesley.
Yeah.
He's basically a YouTube star now, doesn't have full status anywhere, got a sponsorship exemption, finished T2, gets him into this week's event. I saw he gets an invite to this week. I don't know if it's the Zurich or another tournament. I'll have to
Hmm.
do some research, but
Yeah.
happy for him. I like him better on the PGA Tour than I do on YouTube for sure. Um, but yeah, congratulations to Billy Horschel. But
Yeah.
to back to Scotty and Nellie, unreal. Two American golfers, two TaylorMade golfers on an insane run. But it honestly doesn't feel that crazy to me. Scotty Scheffler, very laid back, doesn't talk a whole lot in the media kind of guy. Nellie Korda, very humble. I saw her press conference after she won the Chevron and just super grateful for her caddy and her team around her. Um, just two Nellie's a big star, especially on the LPGA tour, but just two people who they passed you on the street, you may not even like double take when you look at them. So it doesn't feel like they're dominating, but they're obviously dominating on the course.
Yeah, they most certainly are, and it's interesting because it feels like Nellie's really gotten comfortable with this. I think Scotty has been comfortable in the situation over the last few years, and after sorting out the putting and getting his putting to adequate, which was all he really needed to do to take advantage of the ball striking. But like, Nellie seems like she's become a lot more comfortable in this role, and I know she's said in interviews that she doesn't want to be the face of women's golf. She doesn't want to be carrying that mantle. She just wants to go out there and play and win, but it seems like she's really a lot more comfortable in her own skin. And because of that, like now the results are just piling up with just amazing, amazing frequency.
Yeah, definitely agree. So let's get into it.
Yeah,
2024 Masters, the 88th playing. John Rahm was defending, made the cut, didn't do a whole lot, didn't make a lot of noise. But yeah, Scotty Scheffler wins by 4 over Oberg. Still working on the last name.
very good, very good.
I appreciate it.
You got it
Thank
there.
you. Coming down the stretch, I know Madison had picked Max Homa. It was really I don't know if I could even say a 5-horse race. If you throw Fleetwood in there, Morikawa, Oberg, Scheffler. Am I forgetting anyone? Was that 4? Trying to think.
That's That's your top
Oh,
five
I
there.
think that's
Scheffler,
5.
Ober,
That's
yeah,
5, yeah.
Scheffler, Oberg, Fleetwood, Homa, Morikawa. Smith was
But
never Smith was six, but never really in it.
and then when Oberg hit it in the water on 11, Homa hits it long on 12, Morikawa and Fleetwood out of touch when they hit the back 9. It was pretty much over after 12. Scotty, like I was watching, Scotty had a putt on 13 for eagle, and it was one of those like I think Oberg had a putt on 14 for birdie, and it was like the last thing that would really keep him from winning is like
Hmm.
if he three putts this, he could still lose. And Scotty, best player in the world, was absolutely nails. Two putted on 13, made birdie, probably had a 3 or 4 shot lead at the time, and then just absolute cruise control on his way in.
Yeah, it was almost scary because he never looked shaky. I
Yeah.
shouldn't say never, but once he, I don't know, almost shook off the cobwebs after the first couple holes and settled in, it started feeling inevitable pretty quickly because you knew he wasn't going to cough it up if he was able to come back from a teeny bit of a slow start bogey on. I'm looking at the card right now, and the a couple bogeys in the first 7 holes that kept him at 6 under, and then really just kicked it in gear with a birdie on 8, another one on 9, and then what he did on 10 to make birdie in 10 when a lot of guys are just trying to find some piece of the green and two putt and get out of there. And even with the bogey on 11, it was still feeling inevitable. I heard somebody else call it, that was a very professional bogey. You know, 5 was the way he played that hole. 5 was the absolute worst score he could have possibly made. 6 was never in the equation. And then after that, it's just the guy's not going to make a mistake. Somebody was going to have to do something absolutely remarkable, and it wasn't there for anybody. It just wasn't.
Yeah. Let's get into Oberg a little bit.
Yeah,
So first
please.
Masters appearance,
First major
just
of any flavor.
yep,
Another big one
which
because a
is
lot of time.
crazy because he played in the Ryder Cup and absolutely dominated. I saw something that was like last year at this time, like he was competing in like the NCAA
Yeah.
Big 12 or whatever like tournament. It's just crazy, like his game and just like the way he carries himself. You would think he's a 5, 6, 7 year veteran out there on tour. He a great made a great birdie on 9,
Hmm.
pars. Let's see here, birdie on 8, par on 9, and he ties the lead after the 8th hole, and, like, just the biggest smile
Yeah.
on his face, and I was like, "Whoa, this is scary." Like, it sucks that he couldn't play with Scotty in the final round. I think that could have made it a lot more interesting,
Hmm.
especially coming down the stretch. I think it would have been a little bit tighter, but just huge round of applause to Oberg.
Definitely did not play like his first time in a major. Definitely did not play like his first time in a Masters. To go out there and shoot 7 over in tough conditions, in wind, with the golf course absolutely firm and fast and fiery, and to do that, and he never looked like he was, like the moment was too much for him. It never looked like that. He looked like he was calm and cool and in control. Even when he bounced it off the bank on 11, he still he didn't lose it. He kept his head together. He was always smiling. Definitely picked up one fan that week in my wife, who's, yeah, this is my guy now. This is my guy. I know Scotty's the man of the moment, but this guy's he's gonna really be something. I'm like, okay, he's got the Mary Iavino seal of approval. I think there's nothing but big things in his future. So yeah, and I'm looking forward to it. I hope it becomes. We need a rivalry now that we've
Mhm.
got a clear number one. We need a rivalry.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that after we got done talking about the RBC. Scotty's about to have a kid. I
Hmm.
would assume we won't see him again until the PGA.
Right.
So who, and it may not be anyone, but who is next in line? And Colin Morikawa is playing pretty good golf.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of high finishes.
Mhm.
I don't another player I don't really trust with the putter in their hand. But yeah, just who do you think is next up?
In the short term, I don't think there's any clear next man up.
Mm.
Long term, I do think Ludwig could be the guy, but still extremely early in his career. But I'm not seeing anyone else who's really announcing themselves as the clear number two. Honestly, I think the big problem is the clearest number two is playing on another tour in 54 hole events. And he's got what, like a pink lion or something on his hat.
Yeah,
And
I don't know what the logo is.
yeah, but I think that honestly, we again, as golf fans, are being deprived by not really having an epic Scotty, John Rahm, constant duels week in, week out. Like I think that could have made this past weekend a lot more interesting if there's, a bit of a grudge match going on, some maybe a little revenge, that sort of thing. So I guess we're just gonna have to wait for the PGA for that. But yeah, I'm not seeing it from anyone else that's currently playing on the PGA Tour.
And that's a real shame because with Rom leaving, obviously DJ, Cam Smith, like the door is open
Yeah.
for Rory. And he hasn't walked through it at all. And he's seeing Butch Harmon. He's trying to put things together, but it just hasn't come to fruition yet. Maybe he's the guy that steps up. It's crazy. He hasn't won a major in 10 years, but it still wouldn't surprise me if he somehow figured out to get a PGA this year, a US Open, or the Open.
Nothing would surprise me at this point, especially with him going back to see Butch. It seems like Butch can somehow just rekindle old magic, bring back old feels that you used to have. And I would love to see him do that with Rory. I think the game would be even better if Rory were there to be a clear cut number two to Scheffler. And like you said, the path is so open for him. Who would you even pick as a number two right now? Is it Wyndham? Maybe.
I
I
think
mean,
it's
you have to, but it's almost okay, money wise, FedEx Cup points wise, statistically. But you put the two next to one another, and it's not the same league. It's not a fair fight. It's yeah.
yeah. Did you see that Scotty's lead in the official world golf ranking is the same as it is from Rory to Tiger, who's in 700th, whatever place?
I did not see that, but it doesn't surprise me one bit. It really doesn't.
That's just crazy.
Yeah.
Um, so speaking of Tiger,
Speaking of Tiger, wondered when we were going to
made
get to
history,
him.
made history, continues to make the cut at the Masters pretty much every year.
Broke the tie,
Is
broke
it
out of his
20?
tie.
Do we know what it is? 24? 26?
25, I believe. It was his 100th. It was his 100th round.
Correct,
And I
yeah,
think he has a
on Sunday.
right. Sunday was his 100th round.
Yeah.
I believe that was his 25th made cut in a row. So he breaks out of the tie with Freddie and Gary Player. And
Yeah.
I, for one, could not be happier that now Gary Player does not have even a share of the Masters made cut record. And hopefully he will shut the heck up, although we all know that's not going to happen.
No, that'll never
Never
will happen
happen.
someday, obviously. But
Not wishing that on Mr. Player.
no, not at
Would
all.
just like him
But
to be quiet, but yeah, it's not going to happen.
um, was that Tiger's only goal this week? 'Cause
Yeah,
as soon
even if it was, honestly, I thank him. I take literally take my hat off to him just for that.
yeah, so Tiger made the cut Friday. He played well Thursday, Friday. I think he
Yeah,
was a little shaky, potentially coming on the stretch. It was one of the rounds, either first or second. And then Saturday, he just really didn't even show up. He shot 82. And the
yeah.
scariest thing is you got Charlie Woods Sunday morning giving his dad a lesson on the range. So not
Hey,
great things
pops.
coming out of the Woods camp.
I gotta wonder if he's really playing those first two rounds strictly on adrenaline, and then
Mm,
after that, once he makes the cut, all of a sudden that the rush is gone, the adrenaline is gone. He's just spent at that point, and especially walking around that golf course, that takes a toll on you.
yeah,
And it's like the guy, he doesn't have any legs. He just doesn't have any legs. He's got the shots, but he doesn't have the legs.
yeah.
So we need him on a nice flat golf course. Just the right temperature, not too cold, so it's going to seize up his back. Hoping for a really mild Open Championship. Maybe could do something there. Pinehurst number 2 might not be bad. Seriously, he could shot make his way around that golf course, and just that would be that would just be magical. But
It'll definitely be warm enough, that's for sure.
yeah, oh, no doubt on that. It's going to be sweaty down there.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyone else? Do we? So it's unfortunate that our guy Madison isn't here, because what do we do with Homa? Do we give him his flowers for his best performance in a major, T3 at the Masters? That's not nothing. But he had it. He had it to 7 under. He
Mhm.
had it to 7 under and really looked like he might be able to do something. He might be able to put a little pressure on, and then another casualty of the 12th hole. Just a little short iron, and just absolutely so confounding to people.
Yeah, I don't know what Jordan Spieth did. Was it 2016? I think it was 2016 when he dumped 2 in the water and made,
Mm-hmm.
like, a quad and basically took
Right.
himself out of the tournament. Ever since that day, 12 has just eaten people alive. You think
Yeah.
about 2019 when 4 players in, like, the last 3 or 4 groups hit it in the water,
Mm-hmm.
and now Max Homa just folding like a lawn chair. I'm giving him absolutely no flowers at all.
Okay. Okay.
Um, you you birdie 9, you par 10, you par 11, and then you step on 12 T and you blame the win, and I get it, but just if you wanna win a major championship, that cannot happen. I think he takes an unplayable, chips again, putts, and then walks out with a double bogey and takes himself out of the tournament.
Yeah. It's. I know you don't want to blame the wind. I know you don't want to blame the wind, but man, he got an awful bounce coming off of the back of the green there. He got absolutely boned. There's just no other
Yeah.
way. It could have hung up. It could have kicked into the bunker. It could have done a lot of other things, but to jump into the bush like that was just, that was evil. But that's Augusta National. That's golf on a razor's edge right there.
Yeah, super unfortunate for him. The ball just landed on the smallest of down slopes that
Mhm.
goes from, like, the back edge of the green, just a little left of the edge into the bunker, and it just ricochets into a bush, which is
Yeah.
it's insane,
Pretty
but
crazy, but that's what happens, and again, he definitely hit it at least 3, 4 feet too far. He hits it a
Mhm.
yard shorter, he's putting for birdie,
Yep, that's all it takes.
and that's the difference. That is absolutely the difference. Any other takeaways that you had?
Yeah, just the weather,
Mhm.
crazy wind. I know
Yeah.
they had a delay on Thursday, and then the wind just blew pretty much Thursday through Saturday. I believe Sunday was pretty normal.
Mhm.
I don't know, that's 2 years in a row now that we've had crazy weather at Augusta.
Yeah, it seems like we're always in for something, and always being in for something. Bryson maybe starting to figure out how to play this golf course? Maybe?
He played well.
He played yeah,
Um,
I if he could get out of his own way, he can't do it for 4 rounds, but
it's crazy to
definitely getting closer to it with his 3D printed irons with bulge and roll on the face. Please explain to me how that's legal. That's ridiculous, but anyhow, um, but pulling signs out of the ground and just,
Mhm.
Bryson doing Bryson things.
Yeah, I believe he was in the lead after round 1 with 7 under.
Yeah. I'm sorry. What was that?
Um,
How many under?
was it not 7?
Not on the Bryson scale. That's only 2 under.
Oh god, yeah, you're right. You're right.
I can't claim that one. I think Claire Rogers was the first one to congratulate him on the 200.
Yeah, that's good. Um, but you come out round 1 in or pretty tough conditions,
Mhm.
you shoot 7 under, but then you finish the tournament at 2 under. So really just couldn't get anything going Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. He went 73, 75, 73 his last 3 rounds.
Yeah.
So he figured it out for 1 round, I'll give him that.
He did, and he managed to not completely blow himself out to sea and miss the cut or anything ridiculous like that. So, be interesting to see what he can do. Honestly, be interesting to see what he could do at Valhalla. I think that could set up really well for him. Just mash it all
Yeah.
over the place and not really have to hit shots. That could be something.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. So
Uh,
in the battle of our favorites, looks like Minwoo got the better of Sahith.
yeah, super backdoor for Minwoo. Started the final round 7 over. I think he was, like, T40 or something, shot 3 under, finished forward for the tournament, and sneaked his way into a top 25, so
Yeah. So not bad. Sahith just didn't have it. I thought he was going to get out there and just feel something and just make it happen, but no. He was a week late on it. He was a week late on it, but hey, we'll talk about that in a few minutes.
yeah, let's do it now because
You want to
I
shift over
didn't
to it?
watch
Okay.
too much to Harbortown. Yeah, I think we go Harbortown, then we can go, into Nellie's dominance a little bit
Okay.
more.
Cool.
Scotty Sheffler, no surprise there, back to
No.
back. No Masters hangover. He said in his post-run interview he didn't wanna hear, "Hey, congrats on the Masters, but sorry about last week." That was his big thing going into the week. First round, just ho-hum,
Hmm.
not
Yeah.
really on
Just
the front front page, and then I was like, "Oh, he's probably not even playing this week." And next thing I know, like, Saturday comes rolling around, he's tied for the lead, and he's got, like, a two-shot lead heading into Sunday, and then Monday morning, four-shot lead with 4 holes to play, and he wins by 3.
just Mr. Inevitable. It truly to roll in there, like you said, come out of the gates with a 69. Nothing. It's okay. It's fine. But there's there's more there. There's more there, and then just absolutely, just absolutely masterful. The next couple rounds, 65, 63, and what golf course can he not play? Yeah, that's not supposed
Yeah,
to.
I mean,
That place
he's
isn't supposed to set up great for him, and
right.
so what's a bad golf course for him?
I can't think of one because if we sit here
Yeah.
and break it down, his wins this year, okay,
Mhm.
we have Bay Hill,
Yeah,
a tough test,
exactly.
all right?
Mhm.
Plays super tough. Then we go to the Players, which is a test, I think, more because of the grandness of the event, not
Mhm.
necessarily the course. Now, don't get me wrong, coming down the stretch at the Players is tough with the 17th and 18th hole. And then we go to Augusta, where everything has to be on point if you want to win.
Mhm.
And then he goes to Harbour Town, where it's a position second shot style golf course.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you think about it, Bay Hill, long, thick rough, almost like a US Open. Almost as close as you get to a US Open in a regular tour event. And then you move to the Players, point to point execution test, moving into the Masters where it's supposed to bring out creativity, flair. You look at winners like Sevi and Jose Maria and Bubba, and you've got these incredible artist type players. Scotty wins there, and then to Harbour Town where it's accuracy and the second shot golf course. And oh, by the way, when you think maybe there's a little chink in the armor, little slip up where he hits a layup on a par five into a creek and doesn't have the greatest approach in for his fourth. Now I'm just gonna bend a big old hook around that tree, and then I'll make the 15 footer for par two. No big. Truly Mr. Inevitable at that point. It's yeah, you're all playing for second place, and my man Sahith battled and played great and
Hmm.
really never looked like he had a chance. Never looked like he even had a prayer at winning
Yeah.
that thing. Just scary. Just absolutely scary.
Yeah. But hey, like we said, him and Meredith should be expecting very soon.
That
The
could be
door
the only
should be
thing that
open.
slows him down. That's the only thing that could possibly slow him down.
Yeah, which again, it's crazy to think about. But yeah, anything else from the RBC?
Talking about is Wyndham Clark the number two, T3 for him. Didn't play too badly, other than absolutely nailing a tree on a punch out. I don't know if you saw that one.
No.
He tried to bite off a little too much after hitting one off the fairway. And I'll tell you what, I felt for him. I've been there where you're trying to get it out and play, but you also want to try to advance. You're trying to maybe take a line that'll get you another 20, 30 yards closer to the green, make that wedge shot in there a little shorter, and you just tug it a little bit, and all of a sudden you are hitting that tree dead solid perfect and then out of bounds. So I basically ejected himself from there. JT, top five. Still don't know if it's proof of life.
Yeah, he's making me sick at this point with these sneaky finishes.
Exactly. And Ludwig, another top 10 in a signature event. Talk about ho hum. Definitely ho hum week for him. And it's a top 10. Other than that, I think the Heritage, it's a nice time. They all love it. Laid back, very chill event. But
Still
yeah,
crazy that they haven't moved it on the schedule.
I know.
It,
Absolutely nuts that you've got this stretch of golf with big time events and so little time in between them. And oh, by the way, Scotty's just going to win all those big ones. Let's just sweep them. No big, right?
are you taking him to get another major this year? I love to see it when players can like complete something like the Grand Slam. I think is like really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Whether I know how you feel about Phil, but to see a Phil or Rory, or if like Rom could somehow win like the PGA, or Brooks could win a Masters and the Open, and Rom needs to Open as well. But I find that really cool where you win like the big four.
Yeah.
Sucks that Scotty wasted a second major win on another Masters. I think if it was me, like I'd rather have a Masters and an Open Championship instead of 2 Masters. Yeah, just that's all I really had to say. It just sucks.
If you're getting your choice, yeah, 2 different ones. I'd rather have 2 Masters than a Masters and a PGA. So I would take 2 Masters over a Masters and a PGA. And I'm sorry, I know that's your championship. I know that's your organization's championship. I don't mean to be slandering it, but
Got I
gotta
got
be
nothing to
real here.
say. It just made me chuckle. Like I agree with you, especially if I
So
go back to back. If I
when
go
you're
back to
playing
back Masters,
yeah, when you're playing in the PGA Club Pro pretty soon, I'll still be cheering for you. But
appreciate it.
I'm with you. I would, if I had to pick, I'd rather have a Masters in a US Open or a Masters in an Open Championship than 2 Masters. I would love to see Scotty complete the career Grand Slam. I'd love to see Rory complete it. I think that it's time. We need someone else to do it. It's been long enough. And do I think he's got another one in him this year? God, if he weren't having a kid, then I'd say he's 50-50. With the child coming, I'd put him at maybe a 20% chance still. I still don't.
Still pretty high.
Obviously, yeah, obviously, Scotty, you're the field, you're taking the field, but the odds for the field are getting worse and worse, it feels.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah.
let's set the
Scary.
stage.
Let's do it.
I'm gonna let you do
Let's
it.
do it.
I'll
Yeah.
be honest, I didn't watch a whole lot from the Chevron. I know I
Okay.
promised you all that I would start watching a little bit more. I had a crazy week. That's all I'm gonna say.
Understand it. And honestly, it's like we were talking about before we started recording. It's not a compelling course. It's really not. It's a major because everyone agrees it's a major. But since everyone agrees it's a major, it's important. And when you're trying to win 5 times in 5 starts, it's important. And this is something that hasn't been done since Annika did it in the mid 2000s. So can't say it's unprecedented, but it's a once every 20, 30 years kind of thing. Last time before Annika was Nancy Lopez, I think in 1978. So Nellie is playing for history, and definitely the fields in women's professional golf are a lot deeper now than they were 20 years ago. There's a lot more good players that she had to go out there and beat than Annika had to. And just, I think that definitely we're witnessing a moment in the women's game. And my big question is, can they capitalize on this? Is this something that they can really build on, create some momentum around, and make Nellie a star beyond women's professional golf and kind of get her into the general sports fan consciousness like a she must be sick of hearing this, but like a Caitlin Clark.
Hmm. Do you think it would benefit Nelly to do a Nelly versus Scotty? It's not gonna happen now because Scotty's got the kid on the way. But a Nelly versus Scotty 12 hole under the lights, whatever event, appropriate tees. How much do you think that would help or hurt?
I think if they set it up in such a way that it's going to be competitive where they're hitting the same kind of clubs into greens, I honestly think it really could only help. And you gotta think TaylorMade would just be absolutely
Mm,
dying to do something
yeah,
like this. How much are they loving the fact that they've got the 2 clear-cut number 1 players in the world playing their clubs?
oh,
They've they, they just got to be
it's a
beside
dream.
themselves. Yeah, it's an absolute dream. And I would love to see it. I want to see, honestly, I want to see more of that kind of stuff. The Grant Thornton that they did back in the fall, I thought that was really great, and would love to see more crossover like that. Would absolutely love to see more crossover like that. But yeah, it was pretty incredible It was pretty incredible to watch. I know said you didn't get to see a whole lot of it. She was steering it in on the way home. The dominance kind of faded, and it was more like just grinding it out hole after hole. But to her credit, she was doing it, and never things could have gotten away from her on several occasions, and she never let it happen. She never let it happen. And Maya Stark was trying to make it tough on her, made a run there at the end. Virginia's own Lauren Coughlin played just absolutely beautiful golf all 4 days, and coming down the stretch again to make things interesting. She was within shouting distance for a while there. Again, there were a lot of places where it looked like it wasn't going to take much. It was just one little drive out of position that could have led to a second shot that wasn't really good, that would have led to a tough chip, and then an unfortunate bogey, and that just Nellie just didn't let it happen. To her credit, I just had it on lockdown. So love to see it. I absolutely love to see it. Don't love the golf course. The tournament doesn't have a ton of history. There's better golf courses in Houston that they could go to. Credit to Chevron. They're putting their money where their mouth is, and they're trying to make the golf course better as well, which is good. I don't know how good you can make it, but they're at least trying to make it better. Kudos to them for making the effort. And I would love to see Golf Channel and NBC put more effort into the telecast, into the production. I'll be honest, I watched most of it off the DVR, so I didn't have to put up with all the commercials and all the BS. But I heard from people who watched it live that the live telecast really wasn't that great, and they need to treat it. They need to treat it more like a major. The television coverage needs to treat it more like a major. But
Yeah, it definitely doesn't help that they play the Chevron the week after the Masters.
no,
You want to see a course that is visually pleasing, especially on TV, a little bit more.
mm-hmm.
With the Masters website, it's a dream. You can literally watch anything you want to watch with no commercials. Like you have Amen Corner, you have holes 4, 5, and 6, you get featured groups, and it's all uninterrupted
And oh, by
with
the
fake
way,
bird
then
noise.
you have and then you have every shot recorded.
Correct.
If you wanted to watch
Exactly.
every shot Minwoo hit, you can do that.
And I feel it's 2024. Why, with all the streaming services that we have, why is this not an option? Why can't just at any PGA Tour event stick a camera on a hole? You don't have to have a person sitting there moving the camera around.
No,
Why can't we just pay? I want to think of a number here for the year. Like I'd probably pay for every LPGA PGA Tour tournament. I would probably pay $300 for the year to watch uninterrupted coverage Thursday through Sunday of any group that I want.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Give me that as an add-on to ESPN Plus, and I'm in.
Right.
And have the technology is there. Have unmanned cameras on every hole. Have have volunteers out there with Osmo Pockets or something. The technology exists now. This can be done. It's not hard. It's
And they have
not hard.
trackmans on every hole.
Exactly.
Throw the date on the screen too. Like why not?
Yeah, it'd be perfect. My my parent company, IBM, they're doing AI generated commentary on Masters coverage. The stuff that we can do is pretty phenomenal. This could easily I shouldn't say easily. Not easily, but this could be done. If someone's willing to make the investment, this could definitely be done, and it would definitely be additive. I would
Yeah.
love to be able to watch every shot my favorite player plays. I would absolutely do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you got anything else from the Chevron PGA Tour? Live is in Australia, I think this week.
Live is in Australia. Chevron. Did you happen to see in any of the highlight packages the low amateur Jasmine Koo, USC commit, bounces her approach shot on 18 off of the sponsor sign in the middle of the lake and almost hits the green.
Oh, man.
Almost hits
No,
the
I
green.
didn't see that.
Yeah, she was saying in her post round interview afterwards that she was way in between clubs. It's a par five, fairly long second shot over water, and she was in between clubs. She was indecisive and just hit a real indifferent swing, but it managed to hit that platform and just shot off the thing, hit the back of the green, wound up by the grandstands. But got to think Chevron couldn't pay enough for that kind of thing. And I feel like that's something Chevron could be doing every year. Just put a bunch of put a bunch of women out in the 18th fairway and just have them hitting balls at that thing. See if anyone can recreate that trying to do it
Yeah, I
on
mean,
purpose. But
that's what they do at the Travelers.
exactly. But other than that, I think the excitement is definitely there. The buzz around what will Nellie do next, and that's really cool.
Mhm.
That to me is really cool. Bummed that Lilia Vu is hurt. She seems to be on again, off again with back issues, and hopefully she's just going to shut it down, get herself properly healed, get in better shape for the upcoming four majors and the Solheim Cup up in Northern Virginia later on this year, and hopefully get herself back into contention. Because I was hoping to see that Nellie versus Lilia, hopefully a rivalry there that would flourish, and really hasn't come to pass this year. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I thought I saw something about Nelly playing this week. I guess not. I don't see her on the list for the
she was
LPGA
in the
event.
field at one point.
Yeah, I could have sworn they asked her about it in her post round presser, and she said, "Yeah, I just want to enjoy this right now, and then we'll worry about next week when we get there." But I don't see it.
Blame
Real quick.
her in the least if she did withdraw. She did
Okay.
withdraw. I'm seeing in the Sarasota Herald Tribune 10 hours ago that very sensibly she's withdrawn from that and is going to take a well-deserved rest.
Yeah.
So good for her.
Another 2-in-1 golf news. We did have a video released last Saturday at 10 o'clock. Please subscribe, turn your notifications on, comment, like, all that good stuff. We did a 2v2 alternate shot. It was myself and Justin versus Madison and Josh. Not a great performance for Madison and Josh. A lot of shots got away from him. A lot of shots didn't get to the hole. And Justin and I just had it on cruise control. This Saturday, it's an interesting video. We had Josh back on the channel. We did a 1v1 match play. He got a half a stroke on every hole, which basically means if we tie, like, he wins the hole. So
Mm-hmm.
someone's winning the hole every single time. It was a good match. Trailer is out on our Instagram if you want to check it out. Um, it was a good video, good match. So again, thank you to Josh for coming onto the channel. Trying to think, did we talk about pimento cheese
I don't think
in
we've
the
talked
last
about
episode?
no, I don't think we've talked about pimento cheese because I published the article right after we did the pod. I had it written, but I hadn't gotten a chance to hit the publish button. But yeah, so my pimento cheese power rankings, they are up on 2in1golf.com. So please check that out. Yankee boy like me, grew up in New Jersey, thought pimento cheese was just absolutely disgusting, but a very special, very dear woman in my life, my mother in law, she made me see the light. And I can't thank her enough for it now. And who knows, Sterling, like we've talked about, maybe there will be some video content around this. I know my mother in law would be happy to make us a whole bunch of pimento cheese for that.
I'd be real happy to try her pimento cheese with a hint of a jalapeno.
With the jalapeno in it? All right.
Maybe not a hint. Yeah, I think I don't know. I was reading it and
a helping.
I told you it made my mouth water and it's starting to water right now just thinking about it. So
All
I'd be
right, man.
happy to film that video.
Definitely. Definitely. We will do that. I'll talk to her. We will make that happen. But that one, short shelf life, on pimento cheese. So we're gonna need to nail our dates down because when we've got the goods in hand, we got to go out there and do it.
Yeah.
Can't be putting that one off. So yeah, that brings us to the 50-minute mark here. Thank you all who've been listening for this entire time. Really appreciate it. And Sterling said, please check us out on all the socials, 2-in-1 Golf, and our blog at 2in1golf.com. Appreciate all the support, and we will see you next time.